Let me just make sure.
Do you like Harry Potter?
Yeah, swing a little bit more around. I do, but not as much as you.
I was going to say, are you going to watch the new Fantastic Beasts movie, or is that like a bit too far-fetched for you?
No, I would watch it, but why?
No, because I just wanted, because you love movies. That's the only movie I know that's coming out, and I was like, I wonder if like that's something like you like just keep up with.
I'm not going to go and try. I'm never. Let me just.
You're going to purchase a ticket to go see it.
I'm never ever going to even put it on. But if someone else puts it on, or if Taylor puts it on, she's a Harry Potter fan. I will watch it with her.
More than you.
Huh?
That's why I like her more than you.
Why? You're really into it?
Fucking oath.
I know you're really
not
into
the
Harry
Fantastic
Potter.
Beasts, but you know, I'll see him.
Yeah. Yeah, I know you're really into Harry Potter. You're not into gaming at all.
Fuck gaming.
But there's a Hogwarts game coming out this year. Did you not know about that? It's like...
Think about the world I live in and the shell,
I know, but like
the rock that I'm under.
We all have those things that we make an exception for. You know what I'm saying? Like I probably game a little bit more than you, but I'm not a gamer. I just sort of play, like, for example,
FIFA.
I play FIFA. I grew up with that, but I don't play any other game. But if a Batman game comes out, I like Batman, so I jump into it. There's not like not even Hogwarts.
I don't own a gaming console.
Yeah, I know, but like you never even thought about it? No?
No.
You should give it a go. I'm probably going to get it.
That's beer money that I'm losing out on.
Welcome to the Bronx Cheer Basketball Show. I'm your host, Nathan Callanan, and as always, I'm joined by my co-host, Jack Lynch.
G'day, mate.
How are you, mate?
Good. Life's all right.
Yeah.
Can't complain.
Your eyes are as red as a bloody tomato.
Well, that's the joy of burning the candle at both ends, so to speak.
Been working like a dog?
Working like a dog and socialising a bit more than I would like normally. I think it's been one of those things, you put it off for so long.
Yeah.
And then it's all just like catching up with too many people too quickly. I think I drank last week. Wednesday night, Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night. Had Sunday off and then drank last night as well.
Yep.
So, life's good.
Yeah.
I'm only slightly busy.
We don't advise the abuse of alcohol on this podcast. Jack just enjoys some hops and some barley.
Love me barley and hops.
Yeah. Is it just mixed with water? Is like every drink mixed with water? This is a real I
think so.
Kid question. But is it? Yeah. It's just water mixed with like ingredients.
I assume so.
Yeah.
Wine's not. Wine's just
some
grapes,
not,
but that
not all drinks are. Yeah.
Wine is grapes are mostly water. So
yeah, that's right. So
liquor's got to come from somewhere.
You just like water. It's like you're having a glass of Milo.
I'm having liquid bread essentially.
Yes.
When I drink a beer.
That's right. What do they say that one beer is 6 slices of white bread?
Something
in
like
terms
that.
of
Mate,
carbs.
Deny. In my mind, it's not.
All right, well, let's get on to the basketball. Talking about working hard, Ime Udoka for the Boston Celtics has worked hard to get the Celtics currently. Let me get the standings up. I'm going to guess you guys are second. Are you second right at this moment?
Right at this moment because we've played an extra game than Milwaukee.
Okay.
If Milwaukee win tomorrow, then they've got the tiebreak over us.
Yep.
So we're alternating between second and third at the moment.
Clicked on NHL. All right. So the East hasn't changed in terms of what we probably discussed when we last spoke, which was a few weeks ago. It's just tight as hell. Miami are up top with 28 losses. Boston 30, Milwaukee 30, Philly 30, and then it goes Bulls, Toronto. But it's just so...
Have you got the tiebreaker over Boston? Or has Boston got tiebreaker?
I'm pretty sure it was 2-2. So what happens then?
Last time we were all tied.
Is it like
Boston was the 4th seed, I'm pretty sure. So I reckon you must have the tiebreaker over Boston.
Okay. Maybe we do then. If it was like point differential, I'd say that you guys would have it after your 48-point win over us.
Unfortunately, it's not.
But yeah, so the East continues to be a bit of a bloodbath. It really does look like... it has been cemented. The Nets will be in the playing game. Like that got mathematically cemented the other day. But it really does look like that they are not at least going to get that... Oh, they still might. Actually, I'm not going to confirm anything. They might still get 7th, which is that first home play-in. Who knows? But they're going to be in play-in.
Pushing tight for 7th.
Yeah. They're in playing circumstances. Cleveland, with the injury of Jared Allen, are slowly sinking. Atlanta have won a few games in a row, so they're
flying.
shooting up, and Charlotte are there. And then below that 10th line in the East, it's at least on the standings I'm looking at, it's got E for all the teams. That means eliminated. They can't make the playoffs.
I've got an O for all of them.
Yeah? Ooh. Different apps? What are you using?
NBA.
I'm using the ESPN app. Always different. Yeah. We've got to be different, don't we?
Can never agree.
Over to the Western Conference, just a quick check over. There is one team sitting out of the 10.
Sacramento.
That doesn't have the eliminated next to them, and that's the LA Lakers. But JL, they are 2 games, and they've played the same amount of games. Mm-hmm. They're 2 games behind the Spurs, and the Spurs have that tiebreaker. The
Spurs need to win 2 more games to lock in.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, the magic number is 2.
The LA Lakers are 3 games behind the Spurs. 3 games literally from making the playoffs at all this season.
Yeah.
Let me just start off with that. I mean, let's not go on for too long. But is this the biggest, fuck up / failure in NBA history? You know, this 2021-2022 LA Lakers
it'll
run.
Be close.
Starting with that Westbrook trade.
It'd be close to the biggest combustions of a team ever.
Yeah.
My mind automatically goes to the Dwight Howard Lakers.
Of course.
But that was a lot of injury as well. That wasn't necessarily the fact that they were bad. I mean, they still were bad, but, Dwight had injuries and Steve Nash was out a lot of the year. I also go straight to the KG, Paul Pierce, Brooklyn Nets.
Yep.
With Andre Kirilenko, Brook Lopez, and Deron Williams leading as the front man. But they still won a playoff series.
Yeah.
They still got in there. Paul Pierce had a clutch block on Kyle Lowry in Game 7 as a buzzer beater. Don't know how I remember that, but I do. So they still made some noise. And then you go back even further. You got the 2004 Lakers that lost in the NBA Finals, which they still made the finals, but everyone had them as a shoo-in. They've won, they've three-peated at that point, and they've brought in Karl Malone and Gary Payton.
Yeah.
So obviously they still had more success, but that was for what they had on their team.
Yep.
That was probably a bigger failure in terms of expectations, but this one's pretty fucking bad.
Yeah. And more so it just keeps going back to that trade. So you mentioned some injuries with that Lakers side of Dwight Howard and Steve Nash. That would be in the...
If AD was healthy and LeBron was healthy all year, then they would be. But
it's still bad. Yeah. It's still bad that they traded in one way or another. They brought in Westbrook. They brought in... I know that you can't predict with Kendrick Nunn that he wasn't going to play the whole season, but they brought in Kendrick Nunn. They brought in Carmelo Anthony on a minimum. Dwight Howard back. They put all their chips into these guys. They let Caruso go. They traded KCP, Kuzma, Montrezl Harrell. Not that these guys were perfect, but they put all these chips
with an aging team and Anthony Davis. You've got a lot of players that can still win games against New Orleans.
Yeah.
But you lost that.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, I said it probably last time we spoke. I said it from the start. I guess in this position, you happen to be the lucky one that very dislikes Westbrook. And that's me. So I said it from the start that, I don't know. I was so happy when he went there because I disliked the Lakers. But yeah, this has got to be one of the worst trades of all time. The Westbrook one, basically, because they have just made themselves look... And who's going to take him? Who's going to take Westbrook for $40 million?
Unless he opts out. Do you reckon he's going to opt out of a 40?
Is he at the end of his contract?
He's got a player option. So he can opt out. Season. He can opt out of $40 million and maybe get $20 million elsewhere. What do you reckon?
Well, I don't think he will, but he's, gone through the whole mental stuff with being in LA. I reckon he's loving that they're about to get bounced because he's like, I'm out.
I was thinking about this yesterday. Anyone in their right mind would be like, I'll take the extra $20 million, whatever it is. Yeah. Because he probably would get a $20 million a year contract from someone, I reckon. Someone would throw it at him. But given that he's already had a max contract, a super max, in his career, Maybe he doesn't care. Maybe he wants out of LA because he's all about don't disrespect my surname. Take my last name out of your mouth or whatever whatever Will Smith said. Maybe he will just be like, fuck, I don't want the money. I want to get out of LA. Be with my family. So that for the Lakers, they better hope the crowd keeps booing him and bullying him for the next few games because that's really the only way he leaves.
So listen to this for me for a second. So this is the San Antonio Spurs' upcoming schedule. You said they need to win 2 games and then it's done for them. They have 4 games left.
Yep.
They've got the Nuggets away, the Timberwolves away, and then the Warriors at home, and then the Mavs away. I'd say they're all losable games.
And they're all fighting for seeds as well.
Yeah, I'd say they're all losable games. But they're 3 games technically ahead of the Lakers. The Lakers have only got, I'm pretty sure they've only got OKC left. Let me have a look. That's a winnable game. They just lost.
They finished with Denver.
So they've got the Suns away.
That could be an easy win.
Why? Are they resting them?
They've got the 1 seed locked up.
Yeah, I don't know.
I reckon Chris Paul might be turning the ball over.
I reckon. I mean, not. This is me just going. I don't know if because I haven't checked in to see if that's news that they're starting to rest players.
They lost to OKC yesterday.
They did. I saw that.
So it wouldn't surprise me.
Rested them all. I reckon they want to put I reckon anyone in this league will want to put the foot on the throat of the Lakers, especially after Anthony Davis. You know, they had the back and forth. Anthony Davis said we would have won if I wasn't injured last season. Suns didn't like that.
They haven't been playing Devin Booker because he's pretty much done for the season until playoffs.
Okay.
They've shut him down for the time being.
Yeah.
Wouldn't surprise me.
Anyway, I'm going to go conversely and say it wouldn't surprise me for one game against the Lakers they put the foot on the throat. Anyway, so Lakers Suns, I'm still going to chalk that up as a loss.
DeAndre Ayton didn't play either. The starting lineup was Cam Johnson, Landry Shamet, Miles Bridges, Mikal Bridges, Chris Paul, and JaVale McGee.
I reckon that was just an OKC venture. I reckon they want to actually...
Pokusevski triple-double as well that game.
Oh, he's got to get good. So they've got the Suns, the Lakers, and then they've got the Warriors away. Then they've got the Thunder at home. You know, they've actually lost to the Thunder twice this season.
Both 25-point comebacks.
So I don't know why I'm saying that's a winnable game. And then they got the Nuggets away.
And Golden State are on the verge of losing the 3rd seed as well.
Yeah, no, they've been slipping as well. So, and even the Nuggets, low-key, have been, slipping of recent. Are the Lakers going to make it in? Is my question. No.
But... how many times in LeBron's career have we counted him out and he's proved us wrong? It's one of those things. He had that quote the other day, until he's buried 6 foot under, don't count him out.
Yeah.
And I hate that he's tormented Celtics fans so much that it wouldn't fucking surprise me.
No, I'm going to have to go no as well. 3 games back. There's 4 games left.
Yeah.
Not for me.
Take a miracle.
No, not for me. I mean, yes, the Spurs could lose all those games, but there's a reason why the Spurs have sort of climbed up to 10th. It's
this is Greg Popovich's last year, and his last act is denying the Lakers the playoffs.
Unbelievable. But other than that, there's not much to talk about for now. We're about to hit the home stretch. I've already mentioned to you that our next couple of weeks, for our segments at least, this is the last week of the regular season, and then next week we've got play-ins and then playoffs. So for next week's episode, we will do player awards, what we predict they're going to be, and our thoughts on them. And then the week after, there'll only have been 3 days of playoffs played. So we'll do our bracket predictions from there. So it's gonna start heating up, right? But for now, it's just that little calm before the storm. There's not really much happening. Giannis passed Kareem Abdul-Jabbar for the all-time Bucks leading scorer. Congratulations to him. He's also been dominated. He went to Philly, dropped 40, got a great win.
He wants that MVP.
Went to Brooklyn, scored that 3-point shot, that step-back 3 to ice the game. Oh, no, sorry.
Send it to overtime, wasn't it?
Send it to overtime, sorry. He got the block to save the game against Philly.
Goaltend. Overturned.
Overturned. Made the free throws against Brooklyn. He's just... So let me just quickly jump in there. You brought that up, MVP. What's your rankings as of now? Actually, hold on. Yeah, as of now. But sort of try not to give away what you're going to say next week. I know I make your mind sort of twist sometimes.
Do you want me to say it or not?
Do you think... Okay, don't tell me your rankings, because find out next week, everyone. Come back.
I think it's
Do you
locked up
think
already
that in
point.
this last week,
Can't change.
with the Giannis things, do you think that Giannis has jumped, like, it made a significant dent?
Yes.
Yes,
But
that's my question.
I think MVP's locked up.
Okay. I think I know who yours is.
I think the player that, in my mind, will win it, he's done the groundwork, and no matter how much anyone comes at him, he's got it locked.
Okay. I know who yours is. I'm going to be honest. I have been floating. I have been very much floating with the three of them, and we'll find out next week.
The return of the big man, how good is it?
It is so good. And they're all international.
And they all play so differently.
Yeah.
Between Giannis, Jokic, and
What?
Kristaps Porzingis.
There's the joke.
I was trying to think of an international big man then.
But Rudy Gobert. But no, so we'll do our awards next week, and I'm not even 100% sure I could write down for you my top three right now of MVP, which is crazy.
There's one award that I reckon has been locked up,
Yeah.
other than MVP,
Yeah.
and I might mention it later.
Okay.
But fuck me, if this player wins, I'm going to be so mad.
Okay. Well, come back next week for player awards.
You'll find out in about 20 minutes time. But you know, I'm going to specifically mention them by name.
And for everyone that's new to the show, hit that subscribe button and that
segue.
notification.
Just sliding that in.
Yes. And hit that notifications bell on YouTube, and give us a 5-star rating on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, and hit follow or subscribe.
And find us on OnlyFans.
And find us on OnlyFans. Jack just started one. Did you see that photo
Nathan's
of...
my co-host on OnlyFans.
Did you see that photo of Seth Rogen when he uploaded that photo and he's like naked and he's got his bloody balls in it on Twitter that time?
No.
It's funny. He did like a photo shoot.
Good on him.
He's a funny guy.
He is.
Seth Rogen. Anyway, let's move on. So apart from that, the only other topic before we get into this week's segment
Juicy.
that I've got, also today, NCAA Championship, the National Championship
I thought you were
game.
going to say NCIS like I was watching. Yes.
The National Championship game happened today. It was the first time.
Jayhawks.
Yeah, first time I believe. I'm going to rattle off a few things that I heard the commentator say, and if I'm wrong, then I apologise.
We don't care. We don't like college basketball.
First time a 1 seed and an 8 seed met in a final, I think. He sort of cut off before he said in a final, so it might have been ever, but I think it was in a final. What else?
Biggest comeback ever, wasn't it?
Yeah, North Carolina are up by 16 points at one stage, 15 at halftime, and I think that's a record. Kansas came back and won. I think that's a record.
Biggest halftime deficit for...
Yeah, both those things are a record, and yeah, so congratulations to the Kansas Jayhawks.
Paul Pierce.
He was there.
Andrew Wiggins.
Yep.
Joel Embiid.
Yep.
That's my limit, essentially.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't think of anyone else. It's shameful, but I can't think of anyone else right now. Now you make me want to think of him. Frank Mason III. I can give you that. Frank Mason III, when I used to sort of follow Kentucky, he terrorized Kentucky one year. Other than that, other than the national championship, the only other thing really to talk about as of right now, there is a little bit of Doc Rivers as really on the hot seat. Don't know if you've seen that.
He's a fucking idiot.
He is, but have you seen that?
Yeah.
He actually sort of, people are confused. So he sort of said a quote about it was sort of James's fault for some
about
minutes.
The bench.
About blah, blah, blah. And then now there was a report from, someone close to Philly that said that
Danny Ainge is leaking this from Utah, sitting there laughing.
So I think the Doc Rivers is on the hot seat, which is awesome.
Did you see his quote about Embiid today?
I don't know if I did.
He said he's like Michael Jordan in the fact that they're so worried about playing offense that they don't think about defense all that much.
Philly?
No, Embiid.
Oh,
forgetting that Jordan's a defensive player of the year and 9-time first team defense.
Yeah. And Joel's one of the best defenders. That's crazy.
I don't get what he's on about.
Anyway, Doc Rivers on the hot seat. Here's quick tip on that. I reckon literally hurts my vocal cords to say this, but I reckon, again, we're going to get done in the second round, and I reckon he's going to get fired. 3 years left in his contract.
Wouldn't surprise me.
And he's going to, I reckon...
The only coach to be up 3-1 and lose 3 times in his career.
Yeah. That game against the Bucks, we had a 10 or 11 point lead. I understand that we traded Drummond away. I understand we don't have a competent backup big, but he won't... So we've got DeAndre Jordan, Paul Millsap, who are both from the Jurassic age, and we've got Charles Bassey and B-Ball Paul. He won't even... Who are both can hang defensively.
Just give him a few minutes here and there.
He won't even try them. I don't understand why you're not trying them in the regular season. And if Harden, the rumors are Harden's got a bit of a hamstring thing. If he really does,
44 minutes.
Shut him down.
Let's play him 44 minutes.
Shut down Harden. Try the kids. Who gives a damn?
You're not going to drop to the 5th seed.
And it doesn't.
You're going to lock in 4 anyway. You may as well stay at 4.
And our aspirations. That's right. And our aspirations for this season, this exact season, are to win the championship. So if our aspirations are to win the championship, we should have the mentality that whoever we face, we face. We're going to beat them.
Especially
when
you don't, like, for probably the first time ever, you don't know what's the most valuable seed because you might have to play Brooklyn.
That's right.
And being the 4th seed might be better off than being the 2nd.
That's right. So I just think all these little things, but I know so many coaches won't play young guys, but playing a 37-year-old... Is he 37, Paul Millsap?
Like
so we were up 10 or 11, and then Embiid and Harden both go off, and Paul Millsap's on to defend Giannis. Giannis goes on and scores 15 or 17 points in a row.
Paul Millsap had...
Come on.
Was it 11 points in 10 seconds against Miami?
Yeah.
Maybe that's what he wanted.
You should have seen it. Giannis... did you see some of the highlights against Philly? There was
I
one dunk at the end of the third quarter... I don't think it was the end of the... it was the end of the third quarter.
So the one from half court?
Giannis.
Yeah, one dribble.
Yeah. He did this push dribble.
I love when players do push dribbles.
It is good. I don't know why they don't use it more. It's like
I use it.
It's like
perfect into a Euro. Because you take 3 steps before you start Euroing.
It's like the Sham God, right? There's some moves in sports. The Sham God is such a useful...
It's a walking turnover.
But it's such a good... It's such a useful move if you can do it. And they can all do it.
I think the only thing good about the Sham God is the art of surprise.
Of course.
If someone does it regularly, it's the easiest thing to read ever.
Yeah.
You just stand still and say, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Put your hand out. Ball's right there for you.
It's like, let's go to our local AFL. And you might I can just see your brain disagreeing with me. But it's like, in like when you're a kid, when someone's about to tackle you, you handball it in front of you if you've got space.
Yeah.
And they just take you out holding the man. In soccer, I always used to do this thing where, so if you think about 2 soccer players and they're going to try and kick the ball away from you, or when you're going to try and take them on, they're just going to put their leg where the ball's going to go. I used to always know that they're about to defend me like that, and I used to just raise the ball a little bit, and they wouldn't understand that it's about to go over their leg. The Sham God is such a practical move. It's I don't know why they didn't use it every game.
Because I don't think it is.
I reckon it is. I reckon it is, and you got to say it's not used enough. Why is it like once a year we see it?
Because it's such it's an easy turnover.
Anyway, I love it. That's one. I got to admit, as much as I hate Westbrook, some of the Sham Gods he's done. Whoa. There's one that comes to mind, Steven Adams.
Yeah, we dished it off.
Oh my God.
That was the one I was thinking of as well.
What a bucket. What an assist that was. Anyway, so moving on from Doc Rivers, he's on the hot seat. I'm very glad. The only other topic to talk about is, are the Jazz?
They are fucked.
Let me.
There is no are the Jazz.
Are the Jazz?
The Jazz are moving back to New Orleans. And they are folding as a franchise because they are going to blow it up.
I loved how I sort of stopped at Are the Jazz because I knew it was going to bring us to this nuclear point, and you met me there.
Jazz don't belong in Salt Lake City.
What are we saying after Are the Jazz? Okay.
Are the Jazz fucked for this season? Yes. Are the Jazz blowing up after this season? Yes.
Okay.
Rudy Gobert and Rudy Gobert and Donovan Mitchell hate each other? Fucking oath they do.
All right, slow down. how many of these players, so how many of these people are in the Jazz organization for 22-23? Rudy Gobert, Quinn Snyder, Donovan Mitchell. How many of them are there? 2 are there?
2 are there.
Who's gone?
Rudy Gobert, but I think the Jazz are making a mistake. Donovan Mitchell should be one to go.
I'm silly for not having looked at their contracts. What a rookie I am. You think Rudy Gobert... So you're thinking like the Jazz are going to make the trade.
The more valuable player out of the 2 of them.
Yeah.
Is that a hot take? I don't know what the sort of consensus is at the moment. But there are a lot of Donovan Mitchells in the league. You can find someone that will replace that scoring fairly easily. Probably not as efficiently, probably not as good, but you can create offense in the league a lot easier than you can find one of the best defensive centers of all time.
Rudy Gobert's he must have just signed a contract. He's right at the start of a
4-year
of a 5-year deal.
Yeah,
he must have just signed a contract. Donovan Mitchell. Let me just quickly get this. You don't think Quinn Snyder might be the easy scapegoat?
No.
No.
No. I do think, though, their offense is shit at the moment. They've gone from... They used to move the ball so well. And remember a few years ago, they had like no one averaging 5 assists, but they had like 6 players averaging 4 assists?
Yeah.
They had something like that. Now it's just ISO ball between Mitchell and Clarkson over and over and over again, and it just doesn't work.
Look, I don't want to say that Joe Ingles was a huge key,
Definitely he was.
But he was. Donovan's also just at the start of a 5-year, so it's going to be it's going to be a trade thing. It's going to be a huge. It's not even like a player option. It's nothing. It's just a straight out the team. It's going to be a like for like thing.
They can't coexist because Donovan Mitchell cannot pass the ball. Is your first issue.
So you reckon Rudy's going to be kept?
No, Rudy's gone.
Rudy's gone.
But I think that's a mistake.
Okay.
I think Rudy
plays for them.
Rudy Gobert is more important to a team's success than Donovan Mitchell in terms of it is so much harder to find.
But even in
Rudy
today's
Gobert.
NBA?
Even in today's NBA. Rudy Gobert has got them the 1 seed. He's got them into the second round of playoffs before. Donovan Mitchell, of course, that bubble run he had was incredible. But if you lose Rudy Gobert, that team is completely fucked. Like, they have no one to defend. If they lost Donovan Mitchell, it wouldn't be that hard to replicate a point guard that can get you 22. Obviously, Donovan Mitchell gets you around 26, 27. But especially if they go back to their system where they're moving the ball more cohesively, I think their offense will just be fine.
I'm just trying to think like of trades for Rudy Gobert.
Dallas would love him. Atlanta would love him. Anyone with a pass first point guard would love him.
Atlanta don't need. They got Capella.
But if you could... Capella's Gobert light, but if they could change them, switch them for the 2, which I don't think they would. And we have said on this pod before that Atlanta's in a bit of no man's land now where they've got a lot of depth and they need to cash that in at some point.
Yep.
And if they did put a few pieces together and landed Gobert, got out Capella, imagine how good Trey and Gobert would be in the pick and roll.
Yeah, it would be good.
Especially when Atlanta's biggest weakness is their defense, and Rudy Gobert on his own brings down a team's defensive rating from like 120 to 105.
Yeah, interesting. We'll have to look into that in the future, like trades for them. But yeah, you reckon definitely one of them's gone.
100%.
Yeah,
100%. You can't have a 7-foot big man and you average 2 passes per game to him. Not even assists per game.
No, is it 2 passes per?
It was 2 passes per game.
No. But I thought I saw he's passed the. No, that can't be right. He's passed the ball to him twice, is what I saw, as in the whole season.
No, it's 2 passes per game.
Yeah, sorry. I thought it was he's passed it to him twice.
No, Joe Ingles passed it to him more this season, and Joe Ingles did his ACL. God knows how long.
Yeah. I saw a similar thing like. Trae Young has 150 assists to Capella. And
So 157 and then 153 passes to Gobert from Mitchell.
Total far out.
Did you see the one the other day? Who did the Jazz play? It was Golden State.
Yeah.
And Gobert got a switch on Klay
Oh,
Thompson.
Klay, yeah.
Dove right into the key.
No one
Posted it up. And Donovan Mitchell just looked away. And you see your favourite player in the NBA, Hassan Whiteside, on the bench just going like, Quinn Snyder is screaming. He spat out gum and then went up and picked it up and put it back in his mouth. But that's how loud he was screaming. It was like, get in the ball. And they didn't even look at him.
Oh, man.
Gobert's gone.
Yeah.
I'd love to see him in Dallas.
Yeah.
That'd be fun.
I would have loved to have seen Giannis in Dallas in that.
When we sort of thought about it for a little bit.
Yeah, that would have been... Imagine Luka and Giannis. Jesus. Luka and Giannis. But anyway, that's the Jazz. They look like they're about to blow it up. My God. I can't believe it because they've been such a solid team for these last, 4 years.
That's when you middle out for, when you... Yeah. It's 2015 Atlanta Hawks. When you don't make any noise in the playoffs, but you keep doing well, something's got to change.
I still come back to and this normally happens. I still come back to last season how
killed this team.
How traumatized they must be by the Clippers, because it's like they probably thought the Lakers have fallen. Like whoa, and Kawhi. Even when Kawhi went down, they probably thought we've got a shot here at the title.
Yeah,
and then the Clippers, no Kawhi by the end of the series. Took them down. They probably. What does that say to you? That says to you, we cannot win the championship, even if LeBron and AD are down.
Yeah,
like that's crazy. So, the Jazz are in big trouble. So that's pretty much everything for the topics. Let's just get into a bit of overrated, underrated, or perfectly rated. I'll kick us off. Just a few each. All right. Overrated, underrated, or perfectly rated. Brook Lopez.
I was going to put him in there.
Oh, is he?
No, he's not. I was like, he hasn't played enough this year. I'll leave him out. I don't know. I think he's at the point of his career now where I think he's slightly underrated.
Yes.
And I can't believe I'm saying this because he was known as a great offensive center and a terrible defensive center back in the day. But I think his defense is now underrated. And I don't think people realize how important he is for Milwaukee's defense. And people are trying to say Giannis is defensive player of the year, and he might be. But it's hard to win it when you've got the 15th net rating or whatever it is or 15th best defensive rating. And Giannis is probably the best help defender, maybe of all time.
Yeah.
His ability to get across. But what's keeping them from having a top 5 defense is Brook Lopez being out.
Yeah.
He was so good at holding the fort down, funneling everyone into, or having the guards funneling everyone to him, and allowing Giannis to do what he does. Underrated, I think.
He is underrated. It's simple as that. I mean, you talked about before he came back, and there was no word on him coming back. I was not worried about the Bucks because I'm like, you know what? Who they got at center? Giannis.
Bobby Portis.
It's like Ben Simmons, right? Ben Simmons and Giannis, for all their great defensive skills and their 6'10" heights, they actually can't stand at center and bang with the centers.
Help defenders.
And when I say bang with the centers, I mean actually do damage defensively. Brook Lopez has, found his place defensively on the Bucks, and also what other center in the league can bomb Splash Mountain, bomb away like he can from 3.
Omri Caspi.
Man, Brook Lopez, like
he was cold last season. The season before that when he was on fire.
Yeah.
But it doesn't take much for him to heat up.
Yeah, I'm still counting it as he's still, especially for a center, he's still amazing in terms of that. He can get out for Giannis.
Gives Giannis so much
That's
space.
right. He's so crucial to their team. Their team is so well-rounded and well-shaped around Giannis. Of course, it could be a little bit better, I always think, especially in my opinion with the Middleton thing. But Brook Lopez, underrated.
Overrated, underrated, or perfectly rated? Joe Harris.
Oh, shit. Ooh, this is a tough one because last season and what we know, like the last Joe Harris we saw in going into last season's playoffs, He was pretty
It
shit.
was fucking shit is the word you're looking for.
Shit. I don't know. I'm gonna say perfectly rated to go, and it's a bit of a safe one because I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt. I'm gonna say he can come back to his best, but at the same time, so he's not underrated. But like, I'm not gonna say he's underrated, but he's not overrated because I don't think anyone thinks that like he was necessarily at Klay Thompson or JJ Redick respect yet.
I'm saying overrated.
Yep.
And I think what we saw in the playoffs last year is probably what Joe Harris is kind of like.
Okay.
Obviously, unbelievable shooter, but it was fairly easy for teams in the playoffs to put him on, make him do the work, and he can't do that. But what makes me think he's overrated is that so many people this year, when there was is he coming back? They're like, oh, just wait till Joe Harris comes back, the Nets will be flying. And it's like, people know how to stop him now. He can't pass the ball. He can't defend. All he can do is shoot threes, and he's fantastic at that. But that's so easy to stop in a playoff scenario, which is what happened last year.
Yeah.
And it was the way people were talking about him all season long, saying he's going to be, he's going to move the needle for this team. Fuck no, he's not.
It's a tricky one. I think maybe a lot of people are saying wait till Joe Harris comes back because before the trade, they had just like...
no shooters.
And no depth. Like, everyone gets excited about the Nets. I'm so happy that all the LaMarcus Aldridge and Blake Griffin shit has finally tapered off because I was sick. I hated that. I never thought that they were good.
32 All-Stars between their starting five.
I never thought they were good. So in real talk, they don't have any depth until the trade. I think a lot of people were saying, "Oh, Joe Harris still got to come back." Is more like because
another piece.
Because they got no one else.
Not for me.
No, I can see it though. I can see it. It's going to be interesting to see how he goes for the next, because he's that type of player. He's that type of Klay JJ Redick player. Can he hit such heights, or establish his name as high as that forever? He played really. He was at one stage.
He shooting like 46% from
Yeah.
But people worked out how to stop him.
All right, next one. Now this is a slightly famous name on this show. I'll take you back. Of course, you can't forget. Do you remember when I was trying to tell you about? I can't remember which one I was trying to tell you. I was trying to tell you about Javon Carter or D'Anthony Melton. And you were like, who the fuck are they? And I was telling you, like, they're underrated.
But you didn't know which one you were talking about.
Yeah, I can't remember which
one.
one.
Or you were speaking about mine, but you meant the other one.
Yeah, I meant the other one, right? But right now, it's time to bring up, and surely you know of him now. You should know of them both, but D'Anthony Melton. Yeah. Every player
Javon Carter, not so much. What is he doing now?
He is currently
Who will he play for?
He plays for the Bucks. Boom.
Javon Carter.
Javon Carter, looked that up. He was on the Suns, and that's where, for me, he got his name. And then he got traded to the Nets, and then now he's on the Bucks. Thank you very much. Javon Carter, and he's solid, man. I don't care what anyone says. As in, obviously, I'm not going to start him, and I'm not going to play him in the playoffs. But he's a solid bench player in the regular season for even a good team.
He played 46 games with Brooklyn this year.
Yeah. No, he's on the Bucks.
I didn't think it was 46.
Yeah,
he was there for a while.
Yeah, he was. He was in the Landry Shamet trade. You know the famous one?
Everyone knows about.
When we started the season, Shamet was in the Suns jersey. I'm like, oh, shit, I didn't hear about that one. Anyway, D'Anthony Melton. And look, I've seen some numbers, but I thought to myself, you know what? I'm not going to betray my usual personality. Ignore the numbers. The eye test. D'Anthony Melton, man.
He's just very handy off the bench.
Yes, shoots it beautifully. All the Grizzlies, as I was going to say, he can get caught up in this blur, this beautiful blue blur that the... I'm sounding French at the moment, but that the Grizzlies are in right now.
Yeah.
I was even tempted to say, and hold your punches, I was even tempted to say that Steven Adams is overrated right now. You know why he might be? Because you know what? I reckon you can plug in any Steven Adams, Giannis Valanciunas into that position right now, and the Grizzlies, DeAnthony Melton, what's the Bane? Desmond Bane. You know, of course, JJJ, Ja Morant, Dylan Brooks, all these.
They've got a good team, don't they?
Oh,
They've got so many names.
All these guys, they will make any big, and I'll argue, they'll make even Ja Morant look good. You've seen their record without him. I think Ja Morant's great. He's clearly their best player.
People don't realise how good this team is, though.
But people talk about Dylan Brooks. I brought up Dylan Brooks as underrated before. I'll bring up another time how underrated Desmond Bane is. But for right now...
Is that in your next...
it's DeAnthony Melton is underrated. And all these Grizzlies, man. I'd love to be a Grizzlies fan.
They are so good.
Fucking Philly.
Remember the last time I felt like this about a team? OKC 2012.
I thought you were going to say... I thought it was going to be some iteration of Boston.
No, like this is...
With you and Bill Simmons, it's always Boston.
Because they're so young and they're so good.
Yeah.
The last time we saw this was probably OKC.
Yeah.
Well, on that. Overrated, underrated, perfectly rated. Ja Morant.
Oh, bang. Oh, because I just steered it in the direction of he's overrated. No, I'm going to say perfectly rated. I did bring it back around in my little rant.
I might cop some criticism for this. Now, I don't think he's not a great player.
This is reflected in your point guards.
I think
Top
we're
tens.
doing what we did to Luka. We see the greatness, and we start putting his name in MVP talks. And he's been in the MVP power rankings and things like that as people's 5th pick. He's been great, no doubt about it. But it's just like, hold your horses, let him develop. Let's stop pushing it too early. He's leading his team to 2nd in the West. No doubt he's unbelievable.
But their record is really good without him.
I don't think that says anything about... I don't believe that, they're better without him or anything like that. I don't think he holds them back.
Their record is extremely good.
It just shows how good their team is.
Yeah.
He's obviously the front man. He's the point guard for a reason. He's dominating. But I hate when people do this to young players. He's not as good as people are talking him up to be. And that's what we did with Luka. By everything, excluding team record, Trae Young's having a better season than him. Averaging more points, averaging more assists.
We did this.
I know, but this is what I mean. Because it's Ja's the flavour of the month. People are let's put him in the MVP talk. And that's sort of hold your horses on that. Just pull it back a little bit. Let him get there naturally without forcing the issue.
I'll give you that. I'll give you just exactly that last point. The MVP stuff is probably a bit much.
And that's all I'm basing it on.
But I reckon... I never actually got to finish this sentence because I've got a good memory. But in our top 10 rankings, when we talked about that, my favourite curry is all... My favourite curry. My favourite...
Chicken korma.
I actually don't like curry. I'm Indian and I don't like curry. Bad, isn't it?
So many things I hate about it.
But I was going to say in the point guards thing, and I'll finish it here. I came into the NBA. I started following the NBA and basketball in 2012. So I've grown up in the last 10 years with shooters. Mm-hmm. My favorite player of all time is Steph Curry, of course. I think Ja Morant might be my first favorite player that isn't a shooter.
Yeah.
I think
Russell Westbrook?
No, but here's what I'm going to say about Ja Morant. I think that Ja Morant can be a more efficient, but just the same category player as peak Westbrook and peak Derrick Rose.
He's a hybrid of the two.
Yes. I think that he can be like that. And his
ability to score inside is some of the best I've ever seen from a point guard.
Yeah. He takes the final shots, right? If Ben Simmons, if any player who never wants to shoot ever could do what Ja Morant does, or
Ja doesn't care that he can't
or
shoot,
Westbrook
but
in
somehow
his
still
prime,
hits him when it matters.
Yeah. Or prime Westbrook or D Rose, if they could all do if Ben Simmons could do what those three and Ja Morant can do, You don't have to shoot. He seems to get the ball when there's 10 seconds left. He's taking the final shot. And he goes to the ring. There's 3 defenders there.
He finds a way.
He puts his head here, puts his arm here, and he does this. And it goes in some.
Yeah.
The ball spins off the backboard. He's incredible.
And I think part of the... Look how much we're infatuated by him. And I think this is part of the issue why he's already overrated. Is the fact that
good.
It's so aesthetic to watch. People want to watch him. People go out of the way to watch Memphis games. Who would have thought of that 2 years ago?
Yeah.
And because of that, and because of how quickly their uprise has been, it's easy to say, he's done this himself, forgetting that he's got one of the deepest teams in the league right now.
Yeah. I'll give you that. I will give you that.
So I'm not trying to slander him as a player. Just, I want everyone to calm down.
Well, you're probably going to hate me for doing this because we've thought about it for many, many minutes, but you brought up Trae Young. Overrated, underrated.
Opt out. Opt out.
Overrated, underrated, or perfectly rated, Trae Young.
Underrated.
Underrated.
Yep. Still to this day, underrated.
Trae Young is overrated. And let's not do the whole fight again.
Then why did you bring it up?
Because I couldn't think of anyone that I think is overrated at the moment. Trae Young is overrated. And we're going to see it in the playoffs. You're going to see it in the playoffs.
We did last year and he dominated.
Nah.
He knocked your team out.
No.
What are the 5 steps of grief? Because you're in the first one, which is denial. Got to get to acceptance, mate.
What did I say in our whole argument?
Oh,
I can't
mate,
even remember.
I've blurted out because I'm in denial as well that I even talk to you every week.
But Trae Young is overrated for the fact that I don't believe that when it gets tough, what's the saying?
When the going gets tough,
when the going
Nathan falls asleep, which is what we used to say in year 7.
Yeah.
Oh, no, it was Tom Marnie that fell asleep. Shout out to Tom Marnie.
Yeah.
I don't know why that was a thing that... I think maybe you said that in class in year 7.
Maybe. But anyway, when the going gets tough, I don't reckon Trae Young can, as with many point guards in the playoffs, I don't think Trae Young... I wouldn't rely on Trae Young. That's what I said last time. That's what I'm saying again. Anything in response, or you just give up?
Just go and watch the 7 games you played last year against Atlanta and watch how much you dominated.
I did watch them. That's
and
all right.
Most 30 and 10 games in the NBA in the last 2 seasons.
Yeah. I really don't.
Most 15 assist games in the last 2 years in the NBA.
No. No, let's not get into it because we just do not see eye to eye on that one.
Right, I've got 2 more. Just trying to work out which ones. I'll finish on the good one. I think that might piss you off a bit more. Gary Trent Jr.
Gary Trent Jr. underrated.
Yeah, fucking oath he is.
Underrated. That's a good one.
Without any looks. What's he averaging this year? Give me what you would expect from how much you hear.
He's on the Raptors.
Mm.
Who he play for? No. Now he's on the Raptors, and you got everything up, or just his mains?
Just the 3 mains.
I could have given you some steals.
Because this is how I know that I feel like I'm still in touch with the NBA.
I
can look at a player and sort of know roughly what they're averaging.
Yeah.
This surprised me.
He's averaging, and I haven't looked once. Yeah. He's averaging 16 points. Bit high.
18.
What? Jesus.
That's what surprised me. 18, 2 and 2.
Oh man. We said this when the Pacers, Blazers, we said this about, they traded Gary Trent Jr., who was so promising, for Norman Powell, and then they traded Norman Powell for a bag of chips.
Stupid.
Anyway, Gary Trent Jr. was so solid in Portland.
18 points per game.
18 points
in
per
a
game.
system where they like to share the scoring load as well.
Great defender. Yeah. Great shooter. Everything you want. Playing in his dad's old jersey. I don't know if it's the same number, but his dad went from Portland to Toronto, I believe. I'm pretty damn sure.
I'll let you fact check that one.
I'm pretty damn sure. And if it's not that, it's definitely he played for Toronto.
Needs a haircut. But other than that, 18, that surprised me. I would have thought he's about the 15, 16 mark.
You see him guarding LeBron last season.
Yeah.
Yeah?
He loves a challenge.
He's a great defender, great shooter, and the Blazers got rid of him. You're kidding me. Underrated. That's a great one. My next one. I've forgotten my next one. I think I've only got one more.
Yeah, we've done 3 each.
Yeah. My last one. I couldn't really think of anyone, especially overrated, so I went to underrated. Overrated, underrated, perfectly rated. Reggie Jackson.
Big U-turn in his career.
Yeah.
He was heavily overrated. And now he's become so under. He's fantastic for the Clippers.
Was he heavily overrated, or was he on a bad team?
Didn't care.
No. On a bad team, was one of the best players on the bad team, and we just assumed. Because I thought the same. I was like...
No, he genuinely didn't give a shit for a long time.
Yeah, but I still think... But he was still one of their best players.
He did the Eric Bledsoe. He was like Eric Bledsoe. Like, didn't care, didn't make any improvements on his game. Yeah. And then it was like his old man game kicked in. And he's like, I don't need to be quick anymore. Let's just dissect the game.
Yeah.
Worked on his shot. And now he just gets to his spots.
Yeah, man.
Like, the way he used to be so erratic with the ball. He used to turn over so much, put up dumb contested shots.
And you know what's crazy? In that bubble where the Clippers collapsed,
yeah,
it was a last gasp, thing when they were about to die under the Nuggets in Game 5. I think it was. Yeah. Game 5? Oh, no.
Which one?
Oh, no. They were 3-1 up.
Yeah,
were they 3-1 up?
Yeah, 5, 6, or 7.
7, sorry. It was the last gasp thing in Game 7, I think, that Doc put on Reggie Jackson to just try something.
He played well.
But not just that. Then Ty Lue comes in. And man, Ty Lue, what a job he's done since, and he's proved everyone wrong. And Reggie Jackson is amazing.
But I thought, maybe I'm remembering it wrong now, but at the time, Kawhi and PG just looked defeated. They looked mentally fucked.
Yeah, they did.
And he was the only one that was just working. And just, especially defensively, I just remember him just looked Pat Beverly-esque.
Yeah.
In terms of the way he was running around.
And the Clippers the bubble was made for the Heat mentally, and it was not made for the Clippers. The Clippers did not want a bit of it. The Heat loved it.
Heat culture.
Biggest
load of bullshit of all time.
Yeah. But anyway, Reggie Jackson for me, underrated. I just think he needs to be talked about a bit more because of what he's done with the Clippers. But I think everyone sort of knows that. It's weird that everyone probably knows that he's underrated, even though he's underrated.
Yeah. My last one.
Yes.
Overrated or underrated or perfectly rated, Bradley Beal.
Oh, no, don't, because he's going to come to the Sixers. Don't do this. All right. Bradley Beal is... I'm going to say, you're not going to like it, but I'm going to say perfectly rated. Because he's not overrated yet. We need to give him a shot. He better not sign with the Wizards. That's what I'm saying. If he signs with the Wizards, overrated.
All right. I want you to give me like a split-second reply. Don't think about this. As soon as I ask this question, I want you to give me a number.
Yeah.
How many All-Star teams has he made? What part of split-second decision did you
Oh, sorry. Well, first I go 2. But it could be 0. It was either 0 or 2.
He's 3.
Oh.
But I feel like, I'm surprised. I felt like he's like a 5 or 6 time All-Star now. The way he gets talked about in the league, the way he's been around for ages, and he's always been good. I'm surprised you would have said 2. I feel like he's...
No, but that's the thing, and that's why I think he can't be overrated yet, because as much as he was been around for a long time, he was a young guy next to Wall. And now it's like Joel. Joel's never been past the second round. I keep bringing up Joel because I want Bill and Joel. I want Bill and Philly. They're a similar age. Michael Jordan didn't win his first championship, and I know he spent 4 years in college, but he didn't win his first championship till he was 28.
Yeah.
Beal is now 28 or 29. If for the next 2 years nothing changes with Beal, he should not have been in this category at all.
I'm ready to call it already. In terms it's in terms of over or underrated, it's always about how the media perceives them. And people talk about him like he's, the best player available at the moment. Like they're waiting, the way that people are waiting for Lillard to see if, he's going to opt out or whatnot.
But some people, like he was. Sometimes
but
players aren't available.
Bradley Beal, I don't think is that good. He's a good player. He's not a great player. And I think the way people talk, especially if he signs a supermax, he's eligible for a supermax. Probably the worst player to ever be offered a supermax.
Nah, not yet. Not yet. It's the Wizards' umbrella. It's the Wizards' cloud that's clouding your judgment. If he gets to the Sixers or if he gets to a team that's winning, you know what I'm saying? It's going to look different. And when I say it's going to look different, his things that he puts into each game are going to be so crucial to game winning. Like, again, sorry, I keep going to Philly, but look at us right now. Or look at the Lakers right now, who didn't go and get Buddy Hield. They went and got Westbrook. Imagine Bradley Beal instead of Westbrook right now on the Lakers. Imagine the difference the Lakers would be right now.
Yeah, but I'm talking about the way people perceive Bradley Beal now. I don't think he's this generational talent that people say he is. I just think...
no. He's not. No,
and that's how people sort of refer to him. They're like, he's one of the best scorers in NBA, one of the best shooters in NBA, does all this. I'm like...
No.
He's just a good player at the moment on a bad team, and he's allowed to get 30 a night.
See, his near scoring title...
Yeah.
That was one of
the most inflated scoring seasons
with
of all
what
time.
You're saying here, I plug in that to Trae Young right now.
Trae Young wins games of basketball. If you win games of basketball, that argument's null and void.
But Washington's team is worse than Trae Young's team. Well, you know what I'm saying? When he was the near scoring title last season, they're worse than Trae Young's got.
Yeah, but Trae Young
How
is
you
still...
feel about Bradley Beal's how I feel about Trae Young. That is actually a great...
It's only because you want him on your team.
Yeah, I love him. He'd be so perfect for the Sixers. So I hope... And I've got to think that Daryl Moore is looking at the situation right now. Sorry to continue. Sorry, everyone.
We need to put like a 6-week ban on you.
Sixers. We're always in the news. If Doc Rivers wasn't on the hot seat, I wouldn't have said a word about us. We're well and truly...
This has nothing to do with Doc Rivers right now.
Yeah, I know, but you know what I mean. Like, if the Harden thing had gone all Cinderella, then... Cinderella. Perfect. I wouldn't have had to talk about us again.
No matter what it is, just goes back to Philly.
Anyway, I think that Bradley Beal's good. But if he signs with the Wizards, it literally unfortunately, it changes. Circumstances determine careers.
It doesn't make you a better basketball player to be on a better team, though. That's one thing I always hate.
No, but if he won... Go back to the Lakers, LeBron and AD. If he won 2-3 championships...
Which is stupid. That's what I always hate about this rings argument. It's just like, you are not a better player.
No. But let me rephrase. If he won 2-3 championships as clearly a big three, really, they would be a big three. It doesn't make you a better basketball player, but that would surely change your mind on your outlook on him.
Of course it would. And that's the issue with basketball. And that's the whole issue with like the rings argument. It's just like...
Yeah, I know.
What team you're on doesn't change how good you are at basketball, and that's what I hate about the rings argument.
Yeah. But these days, unfortunately, I can't believe I'm saying it, but because I respect loyalty, I really do. Like what Dame seems to be doing. But at the same time, the way basketball is, it's so like... And I like it. I really do. If you can't win the championship, don't try. Go to the draft, come back with a whole new team. So this whole staying on the Wizards, staying on the Portland Trailblazers is actually a bit of a summary on how much you want to win. In the NBA of the modern day, compared to a lot of sports, it's like, do I want to win or do I want to be loyal? And that's an acceptable 50-50.
And finding the, I want to win, but I want to win right. What's a move that'll make me win without looking like just ring chasing.
That part of KD's brain was left out.
Don't get me started on that.
Anyway, that wraps us up for this week's episode. Next week, we're firing up. Come back for our player awards next week.
I didn't even mention the one that I was mad at. That's right. We'll wait next week.
No, wait till next week. It's going to be... I reckon this has got to be one of the most...
Civil?
Contentious... episodes.
Yeah, I was going to say, we haven't argued.
Contentious years in player award deciding history.
Except for the one that I'm going to get mad at. If he wins it.
So there's sixth man, defensive player of the year, coach of the year, executive of the year. We'll do them all.
Most improved.
Most improved, MVP, and that's it, yeah?
Yeah.
I think. I reckon there's some serious...
Tom Thibodeau back-to-back coach of the year.
Was he coach of the year last year?
No, he deserved it. He made the Knicks not shit for once. No, that's a joke. And that's the thing. They're going to give coach of the year to Monty Williams this year, when he should have won it last year.
Are they? Really?
I think he'll win it. But it should be...
Taylor Jenkins?
Yes, Taylor Jenkins. I was going to say Dave Yeager then for a second.
Spoilers for next week.
Yeah.
Anyway, but that's coming next week. We'll do our predictions and who we also think will win. And by the time we talk next week, the regular season would have finished.
Yep.
And we will be like a day away from the play-in. That's going to be
Boston,
crazy.
first seed.
Man, I'm so glad. I'm so glad when we don't talk about Boston.
How do you think I feel, mate?
Thank you for joining us. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, that notifications bell, and hit the 5-star rating on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, and subscribe or follow there. JL, thanks for joining us.
Pleasure.
We'll talk to you next week.
But he's sticking you and taking all your